So just before starting, I just wanted to inform you I haven't finished with correction yet. You will be notified as soon as I post the marks, and if you have, and by then, if you haven't received any your markings, then please let me know. We'll see if ever there has been any issue. So we'll start with the class. Today it's the revision class. You're supposed to come in with questions, and you were supposed to have gone through the topics that we've went through. So we'll have a small quiz where you will be given question, and you just jot down the answer on the blank paper that you have in front of you, and then we'll go through all the questions again together. So okay, so we have some open-ended questions, and we have some questions where you will have to one multiple choice question. So can you all see the screen?
Yes, madam.
Yes, madam.
Okay. So I will give you approx 1 minute for each question because it's just 20 questions. So for the open-ended, I'll give you that 1.5 or 2 minutes. So, and then you can just answer. If ever there's anything you've missed a question, you haven't been able to properly read the different options, just let me know. I'll go back to the previous slides. So our revision class today. The first question, what is counseling? So you jot down the answer. Okay, so we will proceed to the second question. What are the characteristics of counseling? Name down the characteristics that you know. Question three. There are various theories that are used by counselors. Is there any question? Are you finished with question two? By the way, I forgot to mention, please do not look into your manual. Keep your manual away from you for the time being and just answer what you know so that you can know where you stand with your revision. So, question three, there are various theories that are used by counselors worldwide. Corey, 2005, has identified 11 therapeutic approaches and has classified them in how many groups? A, 5, B, 3, C, 4, or D, 6? Question four, the four groups in which Corey the 11 therapeutic, well, there are four groups, and the four groups are okay. So, next question. If anyone has just joined the session, we're doing a quiz. Take a paper and a pen and answer the question, please. So, question five, one therapy which falls under the experimental and relationship oriented approaches is A, psychoanalysis therapy, B. Person centered approach, C. Reality therapy, or D. Family system therapy? Okay, question 6. One therapy which falls under the system perspective is A. Psychoanalysis therapy, B. Person centered approach, C. Reality therapy, or D. Family system therapy. Question 7. One therapy which falls under the analytic approaches is A. Psychoanalysis therapy, B. Person centered therapy, C. Reality therapy, or D. Family system therapy. Question 8. According to Carl Rogers 1951, a good counselor should possess three main skills, and these are A. Empathy, congruency, and unconditional positive regards. B. Congruency, adaptability, and empathy. C. Unconditional positive regards, adaptability, and attending. Or D. Empathy, adaptability, and attending. Question 9. The British Association for Counselling and Psychotherapy, the BACP, has identified 10 main qualities that a good listener should have. Sorry. And state 11 of these qualities without looking at your manual or your notes. Question 10. State 5 elements which need to be included in a counseling contract.
Ma'am, sorry
Yes.
to the clause. There are some students that don't have the revision clause on their platform. They can't join
How
us.
come? How come?
I don't know. They're trying. They're still trying, but they can't join.
Tell them to join the session. Next to the session, there's a small arrow where it's written course room or revision class. They
Yeah,
have
but
two
it's
options,
no. They got only one option.
which is the course room.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you all leave this session and we'll join the course room?
Yes. Already. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll just end this session and please join the course room. If there's any issue, then we'll rejoin this session.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Guys, can you please join the course room session? I still have some students on the previous session. I don't know if they've just signed in and then they left. So if you guys have any access to the student, or if you have access to all the students, you have a, I don't know, a group chat or what, please inform everyone to join the this session, the course room session, please. Okay, so we will continue with. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, madam.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. Yes, yes.
We are at the question 10.
Yes, we will continue with it. Can you guys see the screen?
Not
Yes,
yet.
ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so question 10. State 5 elements which need to be included in a counseling contract. Sorry, for those who were not able to join the previous, the other session, we are doing a small question and answer so that you know where exactly you stand with your revision. You shouldn't be looking at your manual or any notes or anything which will help you with this question for the time being. Just answer the question. If you don't know, you don't know, it's okay. Then you would know where you should be focusing your revision on. So we've reached question 10. We will go through the questions again after we went through all the questions. We've gone through all the questions. So it's okay if you've missed the previous one. Just continue with question 10 and the other questions, please. So, and grab a paper and a pen so that you can answer the questions. So state 5 elements which need to be included in the counseling contract.
Sorry, madam. I don't see the slide.
The screen is not there.
Okay. Can you see it now?
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, madam.
So, question 11. What are the four different types of counseling? Question 12. Directive counseling is counselor centered. A, is it true? Or B, is it false? Question 13. What are the five types of listening? Question 14. What best describes unconditional positive regards? A. A form of advanced empathy which enables the client to ponder over behaviors and or thoughts that might be harmful or self-defeating. B. Honesty and sincerity from counselors. C. Counselors must accept clients as they are through non-critical and non-judgmental, verbal and non-verbal reactions, even if their own views radically differs from that of the client. Or D. The client should be encouraged to continue sharing his thoughts, behavior, and or feelings through verbal and non-verbal prompting. Question 15. What are the five stages of supervision? Question 16. What best describes confrontation? A. A form of advanced empathy which enables the client to ponder over behaviors and or thoughts that might be harmful or self-defeating. B. Honesty and sincerity from counselors. C. Counselors must accept clients as they are through non-critical and non-judgmental, verbal and non-verbal reaction, even if their own views radically differs from that of the client. And client should be encouraged to continue sharing his thoughts, behavior, and or feelings through verbal and non-verbal prompting. Question 17. What are the five principles that a counselor needs to abide by? Question 18. State 5 factors which makes people and their problems different. Okay, so have you been able to answer to the questions? Was it easy? Have you been able to answer? Are you still here, guys?
Yes, yes, we are here. I am here.
Yes,
Yes, so
Milena.
how was the question? Have you been able to answer?
Not all,
Ou
ma'am.
soit pas trop? Pas vraiment?
Non, pas tout, parce qu'on a pas, pour moi, personnellement, je n'ai pas encore terminé avec la révision.
Okay, so it's important that you start with your revision. Your paper has been finalized and submitted. So, bientôt ce sera les examens. So, please make it a must that you go through the topics. You know, when we've been through the topics, I've already given you things that you should be focusing on these topics. So make it a must that you focus on these and do a good revision because this module is very easy. It's very easy to score an A in this module. And I was shocked last year. I've had a lot of students who've had receipt, which was throughout, since I've been doing this module, I've had students scoring A's throughout. And since it's an easy module because you have the same thing being repeated over and over again, so it makes it much easier to for the revision and to answer the questions. But if you do not conduct a good revision, you won't be able to score an A, and you might even not pass the module. So revision is important. Going through the notes, going through different slides, going through these questions, and more things that you'll be given, it will definitely help you to score a good grade in this module. So without wasting any more time, we'll go through the questions again together, and I'll give you the answers. So, okay, so can you see the screen?
Yes, madam.
Yes, madam.
Okay. So the first question, wait, can you still see the screen?
Yes, yes, madam.
Okay. So the first question, what is counseling? So according to you, what is counseling? If you don't answer, I will pick and choose someone to answer the question.
It is a way of interviewing a client in which they are helped to understand themselves more completely in
Yes.
order to correct their way of living.
Yes, good. If you, it's good, your answer is good, but when you are if you are given this question, there are few important things that you need to include in your answer. Counseling is a purposeful relationship. It's good when you say that's a way of interviewing someone, but it can be between two or more people. So you have to mention this part. And you also have to mention that there has to be a trained person who's helping the other to change himself or his environment. Okay, so this is a good definition of counseling. So a purposeful, a reciprocal relationship between two people in which one is a trained person helping the other to change himself or his environment. It can be two or more people. So question two, what are the characteristics of counseling? Anyone?
Mutual
Madam,
respect,
Yes, mutual respect. And then?
Focus on the goals.
Yes.
Confidentiality.
Yes, you can include confidentiality. Yes.
acceptance of self,
No, these are not much. Yeah, okay, okay, okay. And okay, so you have it requires a minimum of two or more people because you can't do counseling by with only one person. So it has to be a trained professional and the person seeking help or more people seeking help. There has to be mutual respect, like you've said. And the objective of counseling is to bring desired change or to offer assistance to the client. The fourth one is to promote independence of client. Fifth one is solution must be client focused, and emphasis must be placed on the promotion of the client's acceptance of self. So if you're given a question on the characteristics of counseling, you have to know about these different characteristics. You have it all in your manual. You don't have to elaborate a lot on these. You just have to give this information that you have here. You can briefly like for instance, mutual respect between the counselor and the client has to be observed. You can briefly explain that mutual respect has to be observed because a counseling relationship cannot be built if there's no respect, and the counseling will not be able to progress if there's no mutual respect between the counselor and the client. So you can briefly explain, but you don't have to write paragraphs on the characteristics. It's just You have 6 characteristics. You may be asked 5 or 4 or even 6 characteristics of counseling. You state the characteristic and briefly elaborate on it in just 1 or 2 sentences, not more than this. Okay? And question 3. There are various theories that are used by counselors worldwide. CORE 2005 has identified 11 therapeutic approaches and has classified them into how many groups?
4.
4 groups.
Exactly, 4 groups. I forgot to record this session. So yeah, Core et al. Has classified these therapeutic approaches into 4 groups. So question 4, what are these 4 groups? Anyone?
Analytic approach,
Yes.
experimental approach,
Experimental and relationship-oriented approaches, yes. And
action therapies,
yes.
and system
Person-centered.
perspective.
Sorry?
System perspective.
Exactly, system perspective. These are the 4 groups, and you need to know about these 4 groups. You should be able to elaborate on these 4 groups, approaches, and be able to explain at least one therapy which falls under each. So, one therapy which falls under the experimental and relationship oriented approaches is
B.
without looking at your manual.
B.
Person.
Exactly. Person centered approach. Don't look at your manual, please. Answer, if the answer is not correct, at least you will learn something. So, yes, one therapy which falls under the experimental and relationship oriented approach is person centered approach. So, if you are given a question on these approaches and you have to elaborate on one therapy which falls under each approaches, and if you are comfortable with elaborating on person centered approach, then you can elaborate on this. Person centered approach, the focus is on the person, the client coming in. The client will be the one directing the counseling. The counselor has to display the 3 main skills that Carl Rogers said a counselor needs to have. And like I've told you, the focus will be on the client. It will be the client who will be speaking more about his issue, and the counselor will be here just to guide the client to be able, for the client to be able to find a solution to his problem on his or her own. So person-centered approach, you don't have much information in your manual, but you can go online and look for more notes, more information on the person-centered approach and compile it together to form a good paragraph and explain what person-centered approach is all about. Okay? So question 6. One therapy which falls under the system perspective is? I can hear you flipping pages. One therapy which falls under the system perspective is?
Reality therapy.
Family system therapy.
Exactly, the family system therapy. The family system therapy, it's when there's you bring together all the different members of the family to conduct a counseling session. Usually in the family system therapy, we use group therapy, where each member of the family are brought together so that we can talk about what is going on in the family, what are the issues that they're facing. Usually, when we conduct a family system therapy, we have someone who we call as the identified patient. That is the person who is going through the problem, the person who came to you for therapy. And as because we are in a family unit, it is argued that when one person within a family unit is experiencing some distress or any psychological issue, then each member of that family will be equally affected because we are a unit. Hence, the reason why family system therapy is conducted in as a group therapy, because we have to address the same issue with each and every individual in the family, each and every member of the family, and they all sit together and they all talk about what is creating problems in the family, what are the issues they are facing, why are they being affected by one person's state of mind, one person's problem, and how can we together as a family solve this issue. Again, you have information in your manual pertaining to this, but very limited, it's limited information. You can go online, look for more information on family system therapy, and come up with a good paragraph, a good answer when you're elaborating on family system therapy. So,
Madame,
question 7.
Madame, j'ai une question
Yes.
par rapport à numéro 6 là. Et
Yeah.
cette famille système thérapie là, est-ce que c'est aussi pour par exemple, les groupes qui ont les mêmes problèmes, par exemple comme la drogue ou la prostitution?
No.
Non.
Then you use a different type. You use group therapy, but you use group counseling, but not family system therapy. Family system therapy, it's mostly used for families, for different members of families. It's just people in your surrounding. If you are doing a group counseling for alcohol users, let's just say substance users, then you can use either CBT. You can use there are different types of therapy which can be used, but mostly you have behavioral therapy and CBT, which are used for people alcoholics or drug users. But the type of counseling that you use is similar because you use group counseling. Okay?
Merci.
So one therapy which falls under the analytic approaches is analytic approaches. This is the easiest one. Exactly.
Psychoanalysis therapy.
Yes. And who's the person behind psychoanalysis therapy?
Freud.
Exactly, Sigmund Freud. So the focus is on making conscious the unconscious thoughts. He talks about the ego and superego. He talks about the defense mechanism. He talks about the childhood experiences having an impact on adult life. And he also talks about repressed emotions and experiences, how these affect our behavior, and how we can dig further in our childhood memories to explain adult behavior and our current behavior. So you should be able to elaborate on psychoanalysis if you are given a question on same. So, according to Carl Rogers, a good counselor should possess three main skills, and these are what is the answer?
A.
Exactly. Why are you so scared to say A? It's A. So it's empathy, congruency, and unconditional positive regards. You have to know about this. You have to be able to explain these different skills if ever you're asked. So the answer is A. So, question 9. The British Association for Counselling and Psychotherapy, BACP, has identified 10 main qualities of a good listener. So, state 7 of these qualities.
Respect, fairness, courage,
Yes,
competence,
yes,
uh, em- empathy,
Em-
yeah,
integrity,
uh-huh.
wisdom,
Sorry?
wisdom,
Okay. So we have the qualities here. You have empathy, sincerity, respect, integrity, resilience, humility, fairness, wisdom, courage, competence. So I've stated 10. So you may be asked to elaborate on 5, on 6, on 7, on 10, but you still have to know about these qualities and be able to explain these qualities. So, what is empathy? What is sincerity? What is respect, integrity, etc.? You have the information on in your manual on in topic 3, that is listening skills, and you have it also in ethics, unit 6. So you have information of this on this. If you're asked to elaborate on this, you should be able to. But for okay, so you have to know at least 7 of these points, if not 10. So question 10. State 5 elements which need to be included in counseling contract. Anyone?
the location,
The location. Okay, yeah, but why is it important to include it in your counseling contract when the person has already he or she came in for the first? Usually, a counseling contract, you give the person the counseling contract in the first session, so the person will already, well, he or she must have reached the location, right? So why would you include location?
Madam, number of
Yes.
sessions,
Yes, number of sessions.
fees,
Confidentiality,
Yes, confidentiality, fees also, yeah.
sincerity,
Limitations of counseling,
Sorry?
the limits,
Yes, the limits
professional
of counseling.
professional relationship between the client and the counselor.
The boundaries, yeah.
Yes, boundaries.
Okay, so I have a lot. So you have address confidentiality, breach of confidentiality, time and length of session, number of sessions, fees, boundaries, cancellation, limits for counseling, ending, referral options. And also you have complaint procedures. So you should be able to explain these elements and explain why it has to be included in a counseling contract. For example, confidentiality. Why should confidentiality be included in a counseling contract? Let's take both address confidentiality and breach of confidentiality. Why is it an important element that has to be included in the contract?
Because you should the counsel and the counselor should trust each other, so that the counseling can go on.
Yes, this is one reason. Another reason, why would you address breach of confidentiality in the contract?
because you don't want anybody else to know about the problem the counselor is having.
No, usually breach of confidentiality, well, when you are addressing the confidentiality, you have firstly
yeah,
by addressing by telling your client that each and everything that will be discussed between the two of us, it will remain confidential. No other person will have access to this information unless there are some situations where you are a danger to the society, to yourself, or to anyone in your surrounding. So when you explain this to your client, you are firstly creating a trust relationship between you, the two of you, because you are promising your client that anything that will be discussed will remain between the two of you. So by addressing confidentiality, you are building trust, which will end up in building a strong relationship, therapeutic relationship between you and your client. And secondly, by addressing the breach of confidentiality, you are informing your client that yes, you will maintain confidentiality, but if ever you find that they are in a situation where they are a danger to themselves or anyone in their surrounding, then you will have to breach confidentiality, inform the concerned authorities. And by explaining about the breach of confidentiality, you are also informing your client that there are limits, there are things that you can keep within the two of you, and there are things that you can't. And if ever there's a breach of confidentiality, you've already informed your client about the situation in which a breach can happen, and he or she cannot let's just say file a complaint against you if they are aware and if you've informed them about breach of confidentiality in the first session and they've signed a contract. So do you understand the importance why you need to include this information in your counseling contract? I've addressed two, the first and the second point, that is confidentiality and breach of confidentiality. You address confidentiality to further build trust and a good therapeutic relation. You address breach of confidentiality so that if ever you are in a situation where you have to breach confidentiality, you have already protected yourself. You are safe in the sense that you've already addressed this with the client, and the client knows that in some situations you will be called upon to breach confidentiality. C'est bon, vous avez compris?
Madame,
Yeah.
the two first points address
Yeah.
confidentiality and breach of confidentiality are not in conflict
No.
ethically.
Okay, tell me, why do you think they're in conflict?
Let's say the other counselor tell me that he kills his neighbor and buried it in his yard, for example.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what must I do? Breach the confidentiality or be confidential?
No. Okay. Tell me according to you, what do you think you should do?
I think this is I take a big example. It could be a small, simple example. It will be a dilemma. I think for little things
Yes,
like
definitely it will be an ethical dilemma. This is an example of an ethical dilemma, yes. But if you were in the shoes of the counselor and your counselor tells you that he or she has killed their neighbor and they've buried their neighbor in the yard, what would you do in this instance?
I must go to the police to see the police. I think
Yes, because you, as a counselor, you have some ethical principles that you have to abide by. Yes,
eh,
you've explained to your client about confidentiality, things that will be discussed. For example, if your client tells you that he or she uh, well, they were he was in love with the neighbor, and the neighbor, he's afraid of telling the neighbor that he's in love with her. This information you would not go and tell the neighbor or anyone in the surrounding. Usually when you are conducting a counseling session, the person, no one has to get access to the information, to everything that has been discussed in the session. There are some sensitive information which will be addressed, and these, your client trusts that you would not tell the whole world about this sensitive information. However, breach of confidentiality happens when there are situations where you need to stand by your ethics and be the good counselor that you are. For example, if your neighbor tells you that he or she has killed someone, what are the chances of them killing someone again? If they've done it once, they can do it again. And by if you go by the ethical principle, you are supposed to report such information, and well, you are supposed to breach confidentiality in such situation and report the situation to the concerned authorities, because like I've told you, your best interest is in helping your client. But if your client has done something illegal, in the sense that killing someone, or if there are petty things, you can still maintain confidentiality. But if there are huge things, you need to breach confidentiality and report the matter. Your
Madame,
client, when your client comes to you, he or she will, mostly you will have, you maintain confidentiality pertaining to their psychological state pertaining to the small issues that they're having, be it anxiety or any other disorder or anything that they might be suffering from. But breach of confidentiality happens. It doesn't happen every day. It doesn't happen in every cases. It happens in you may find yourself breaching confidentiality in 2 out of 100 cases. But it happens in cases where there have been huge things which have happened, like for example, a murder, a rape, uh, anything which you know that you would not be helping your client by keeping this information for yourself.
Madame, c'est
Yeah.
pas mon rôle en tant que de counselor d'aider mon counselee à aller vers, vers l'autonomie. C'est-à-dire, l'autonomie, c'est aussi d'aller se dénoncer soi-même. Si je deviens le dénonceur, enfin,
Oui.
le breach of confidentiality, me pose des questions, vous voyez? C'est
Okay.
que
Yeah.
c'est comme si je dis être confidentiellement totalement, hein,
Oui.
et en même temps d'aider mon client ou mon service user d'aller vers l'autonomie, de pouvoir prendre charge de lui-même, et puis ça de lui dire d'aller le dénoncer. Vous comprenez
This is
mon
this
challenge?
is why this is why you should be addressing this in the first session, so that your client is aware of this, that you are bound by some ethical principles. Okay, forget about the counseling part. As an individual, if you see something happening outside, if you see someone murdering someone, what would you do? You would report the information, right? You have certain ethical responsibilities as a counselor, as a person, and as the person who's trying to help your client. Because yes, it's true that you have to help your client to be independent. But if your client doesn't go and report the matter to the concerned authorities, if he or she ends up doing another crime or something more dangerous, they are afraid of going to the concerned authorities, then what would you do? Would you take responsibility of this, of not having given the information at the correct time?
No,
You
yeah,
are, unfortunately, yes, I understand your point, but unfortunately, we are bound by ethical principles. And we, as a counselor, we are expected to be in a state of mind where we can judge what is correct and what isn't. When you are reporting your client, you are not reporting your client because you want to. Because when breach of confidentiality happens, there are a lot of procedures which you have to go through before breaching the confidentiality. You will definitely find yourself in a dilemma where you would not know what to do. But if you think that you need to always stand by the principles, stand by the ethical principles which you are expected to abide by, you will be helping your client as much as you can, yes, but there are situations where you are unable to help your client, where your client has done something wrong. And as a law abiding citizen and as a good counselor abiding by the ethics that you've sworn you would abide by, then you will have to unfortunately breach confidentiality and report the matter. It is the case in all profession. Unfortunately, in all profession, you have this situation. Be it you are a police officer, if you are a policeman and a police officer, sorry, and you have a family or a close person who has committed something which you need to report to the police station. If you are, if you abide by your ethics, the ethical principle that you should be abiding by being a police officer, then you will have to report the matter, be it if it's your wife, your children, or anyone in your surrounding. It's the same for counseling. Did I answer some of your question, or is it still a big question mark in your head?
thank you, tutor. You're my tutor. I
But
must you.
sorry?
You're my tutor. I must listen to you. I must learn
No,
from
you
you.
don't have. You can have different opinions. That's the beauty of counseling. That's the beauty of things, actually, because you don't have to agree with me. You can take on board what I'm telling you about, but you can still have your own opinion.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
But for the sake of getting marks and well, you have to, and for the sake of this module, if ever you are asked to elaborate on elements which need to be included in the counseling contract, you should be. Breach of confidentiality is an important part which has to be included in your contract. Be it address confidentiality, breach of confidentiality, length of session, number of session, fees, boundaries, cancellation, limits for counseling, ending, referral option, and complaint procedures. So you should be able to explain these elements, the reason why these elements have to be included in a counseling contract. Okay? So, question
Okay.
11. What are the 4 different types of counseling?
Directive,
Anyone?
direct,
Yes.
non-directive,
Yes.
uh, group counseling,
Yes.
Electric.
It's eclectic. There's a mistake in your manual. It's eclectic counseling. So you have these different types of counseling. You have direct counseling, indirect counseling, group counseling, and eclectic counseling. So you should be able to explain, elaborate on these type of counseling. So what is directive counseling? What is indirect? Well, it's directive or non-directive counseling, or it can be indirect. So you should be able to at least elaborate on what these different types of counseling represent. And directive counseling is counselor centered. Is it true or false?
false, madam?
It's true. Directive counseling is counselor-centered. Non-directive counseling is client-centered. So person-centered therapy falls under non-directive counseling, which is client-centered and where the focus is on the client and the client is the one directing the counseling session. So question 13, what are the different types of listening? Anyone?
Partial listening,
Yes, partial, fake, and
selective listening,
yes,
selective listening.
yes,
Total listening.
exactly. So you have fake listening, partial listening, selective listening, projective listening, filtered listening, and total listening. So you have 6 types in total. So you should be able to elaborate on these different types of listening and provide an example when elaborating on these different types of listening. So question 14, what best describes unconditional positive regards?
See?
Yes. So the counselor must accept client as they are through non-critical, non-judgmental, verbal and non-verbal reactions, even if their own views radically differs from that of their client. So unconditional positive regards is a main quality that coverages argue that a counselor needs to have, and you should be able to explain to elaborate on this. So what are the 5 stages of supervision? Anyone? Okay, so you have established a contract, agreeing a focus, making a space, the bridge, and review and evaluation of the supervision. So you have to know about the different stages of supervision and the importance of going through supervision. So what best describes confrontation?
A.
Yes. A form of advanced empathy which enables the client to ponder over behaviors and or thoughts that might be harmful or self-defeating. Usually, confrontation happens in a counseling where your client gives you different versions of things. Day one, they tell you that they are very happy with being, I don't know, with going to work. And day two, they tell you that they're very anxious. Day three, they tell you that they're very angry about going to work. So you have to confront your client and ask him about his real feeling about wanting to go to work. So confrontation is it enables your client. It is a way of you forcing your client to think about the matter and give their real thought or feeling about the matter or the situation. So, what are the 5 principles that a counselor needs to abide by? 5 ethical principles. Anyone? Okay, this one you have to know. So it's being trustworthy, autonomy, beneficence, non-maleficence, justice, and self-respect. So again, you have 6 principles, but you may be asked to elaborate on less than 6 principles. So you have to know about this, and you have the information in your manual, and you should be able to elaborate on these principles. State 5 factors which makes people and their problems different. Anyone? This is easy. So anyone?
Culture,
Early experiences,
Yes. Childhood experiences. Yeah.
family
education, family.
patterns,
The
Yes.
social background,
Yeah.
The
Peer,
environment,
Yes. Peer group as well. Yeah.
and a person's own emotions or way of thinking, maybe.
Yes. Yes. So the environment impacts on this, and this in turn impacts on their problems. So there are a lot of factors. You should be able to elaborate on the factors and why do you think these factors make people and their problems different. For example, family background, we don't have the same family background. We have our family has each and everyone's family has brought them in a different way, and there are family values which differs from other families. So you have to be able to explain why these factors makes people and their problem different. This is very important. You have to know about this, and should you can use these different factors that I've elaborated on. Use this. Go online, look for reason why, and at least write some paragraph. Get more information of this on this to be able to answer to any question that you might have. Okay, so this is about the quiz. Now, you must know by now where you stand with your revision, what you need to further focus on. I would advise you to use this quiz as a guide for your revision. The questions might be very useful, and like I've told you, there are things that you need to further focus on. Unfortunately, this year we've had to submit two papers, and you may be so the two papers covers all the topics in your manual. So you might be asked to. It is expected from you to know all topics, apart from topic 8. No, topic 7. You won't be examining on Unit 7, that is the challenges to counseling in Mauritius. So you can skip this topic, but apart from this, you have to know all the topics. But you've already been given things that you need to focus on the different topics. So please do so. And yeah, this might help you. So I'll just briefly go through the format of your paper. So your paper is divided into two sections. You have section A, which is the compulsory question. It is 40 marks, and it is a case study. There isn't much to read, but please read, understand, and write what is expected from you. And section B, you have 4 questions, and you have to answer 2 questions out of 4, and each question is 30 marks. I would advise you to go for the compulsory question first because it's 40 marks, and it will be based on a counseling session, the do's and the don'ts of counseling, the beginning, the progress, the ending of a counseling session. So you have to be able to know about this. And you should also, when you are attempting a question, it has to be on a fresh page. So once you've finished with section A and you've started with section B, mettons you are answering question 3. So you start on a fresh page, and once you finish with question 3, you start question 4 on a fresh page. So this is important. And what is most important is the handwriting. Please make an effort, because if I don't understand, I won't be able to mark you. So soignez l'écriture, s'il vous plaît. And yeah, and don't use blanco in question papers, and avoid bullet points, and please stick to the answer. Don't Ne tournez pas en rond. If you, par exemple, if you're given a question on, let's just say, I don't know, the ethical principles, par exemple, you have ethical principles. You have 6 ethical principles. If you are asked to elaborate on 4, do not start writing ethics is very important. La la la. No, stick to what you should have a brief introduction, but don't spend much time, like 2 or 3 paragraphs on the introduction. It's just one brief paragraph, and then you go straight to the different principles. You elaborate on this, you explain the importance of these ethical principles, and voilà. Don't waste time in and also don't waste time copying the questions. You are not asked to copy the question and then you answer. No, just go straight to the answer, because we already have the question paper. We won't have to go through the question again. Just please write, if you are attempting question 3, just write question 3. Ce sera tout, and you don't have to rewrite the question. And also in your paper, on the front, the first page, it is expected from you to tick the question that you will be attempting. So please do so. Tick the question, and don't forget to write your student ID. It's student ID, not your national ID number. So it has to be your student ID. Write your student ID there, and the information that is, if you're in diploma or BSc, and yeah, that's it. I think. Read your question well. Understand what is being expected from you and write accordingly. So, do you have any question? Do you guys have any question? Non, c'est clair? Vous allez avoir ça en situation?
We'll try our best, madam.
I hope you will. I really hope that you all pass the module and get good grades. But a good revision is very important. Without a good revision, it's quasi impossible. So I have a small proposal for you guys. I don't know if you will be agreeable to this. We can have a brief session just before the exams, like 3 or 4 days before the exams, where if you have any question pertaining to the revision, because I know most of you haven't finished with your revision, some haven't even started with the revision. So if you have any question by then, we can always, I can always answer to your question, or we can always, as a group, address and see how we can answer to the question. So do you want an additional session?
Yes, ma'am.
Of course, madam.
Okay, so
Yes.
so the session, I will send the class rep. Well, once you get your exam date, have you already received your timetable for the exams?
Yes.
When is the exam? You already have the date?
30 novembre. Le
30 novembre, madame.
This month?
Yes. Oui.
Okay. Wow. I didn't know that your exam was on 30th. I thought it would be in December or January. So do you want to have a session do you have class on the 26th?
Yes, madam.
You have class on the 26th?
No.
No, madame.
Can we have a session, a brief session on the 26th?
Yes,
Or do
madam.
you, or it can be,
Yes.
it can be on the 25th of November. It's okay in at night if it's okay with you at let's just say
Yes,
6:30.
yes, madam, that's also okay.
Okay, can we finalize for Friday, le 25 à 6h30?
Yes.
Oui, c'est ok. Mais, je
Madame,
sais
c'est
pas.
possible après 7 heures parce que il y a beaucoup de personnes qui travaillent.
Okay, yeah, because it won't be a lengthy session. It might be just 30 minutes or 15 minutes. So we can, yes, it can be at 7h, so okay. You know what you can do, discuss this among yourself. It can be during, it can be on ça veut dire le 21 jusqu'au 30, you decide on it, well, not 30, let's just say jusqu'au 28, decide on a day and a date which is okay for you all, and a time which is okay for you all, and then you let me know, then we will schedule a class. But I will schedule the class on Zoom, not on platform, on Blackboard. I will send you the link. I will send the class rep the link by message, or I will send it by mail, and then you can share it among yourself. But it won't be on Blackboard. Okay.
Okay, madam.
So discuss among yourself for a day, a time, and a date which is more appropriate for you all, and then let me know. It would be advisable for you all to join the session. If you can't, let me know. We will, or let the class rep know, then we can arrange for something which is suitable for all of you, because trust me, it would help you. So yeah, so decide among yourself, and then we can have a last session. And let me know, please let me know on
Madam,
ours.
for the assignment, are we having our marks sooner?
I haven't finished with the correction yet. I will let the class rep know once I'm done, and then you can verify this on Blackboard.
Thank you.
Okay. So, do you have any question? Okay, if you don't, I will end the session. Please let me know when you want to have the class, the additional session, and then we can comment dire, schedule something. Okay. So
madam.
good luck for your next class if you have one, and bon weekend, and good luck with your revision. Please go through all the topics and all the information that has been provided to you. It will help you.
Thank you, madam. Bon weekend.
Bon weekend. Bye-bye.
Madam.
Bye.
Bye.